Hello and welcome to an India Today special broadcast that comes to you from the strife-torn Ukrainian capital Kiev. I'm Gaurav Sawant. On day 18, this battle is coming closer. The Russian forces today bombed Lviv on the western flank, so far considered extremely safe, and that is an area that has reported loss of life. Over the course of this broadcast, we will get you the latest from Kiev, from Kharkiv, from Mariupol to Lviv, to several other places including Irpin, Bucha, where India Today's team of reporters are getting you minute-by-minute updates and the latest developments. As Russia continues to advance, attempts are being made to stall Russia's advance. And it's sheer grit, determination and willpower that's on display here against all odds. Earlier, I spoke to the mayor of Bela-Tserkov. Now, that's on the southern flank. We've been reporting extensively on what's happening on the northern flank, on the eastern flank and the northeastern flank. West has been targeted, south. The mayor of Bela-Tserkov, he is with an assault rifle with people of his town and city with him, and they say that they will ensure that the Russians do not charge from the south side, where a big attack is actually on the cards. Preparations intensifying for the defense of Kiev, and we are in Bela-Tserkov. This is about 70 kilometers from Kiev, and with us is the mayor. This is the axis from the south. We've been talking about the north, northwest and west, three approaches to Kiev that the Russians are trying to advance from. In the south, they are being stopped, and with us is the mayor of Bela-Tserkov. Sir, what's the current position right now?
Звичайно, наше місто, як і всі великі міста України, були здійснені ракетні удари з сторони електропостачання, водопостачання, газозабезпечення, а також теплопостачання.
Today the situation in Bela-Tserkov is stability. All the life support system works stably, but we also was attacked by Russian Federation army. We have some missiles here.
So there was a missile strike. There have been missile strikes here. Now, this is quite a militarized zone even as we speak. Everyone's carrying a weapon. The mayor himself is carrying his assault rifle. His team that work with him, they are armed with their weapons, walking alongside him. Is a Russian invasion or a Russian attack from this flank also expected, like Brovary or in Irpin and Bucha? The Russians are trying to advance from there. What about this place?
Поки що на нас атаки не було. Було декілька диверсійних груп.
No, the situation in Bela-Tserkov is stable. We had some sabotage groups, but now it's liquid.
They've been liquidated.
That's
a very important point that you make. The mayor is making a very important point about sabotage. Russian infiltrators, they are coming into the system not with their weapons. Their weapons are already here, and then they attempt to target the Ukrainian security forces from behind. And that is where, if you notice this change in the armband, it used to be yellow earlier, it's blue now. It's to keep an eye on who's on the Ukrainian side and who's on the Russian side. But there were some missile attacks that took place in Bela-Tserkov. What was the damage like?
3 людини загинуло, на жаль, і 12 людей поранено. Також, є зруйновані будівлі і, звичайно,
we have 3 deaths and 12 wounded. Some building is destroyed, but
you're fighting on.
Yeah.
Okay. in this locality, there have been some missile strikes. Some military installations have also been targeted by the advancing Russian soldiers. But is Kiev safer from the south side as the Russians approach from the north and the northwest?
Сьогодні в Україні немає міста, де би було безпечно знаходитись, тому що ми бачимо.
There are today no safe cities here in Ukraine because we see that missiles attack is on the west, on the south also.
Well, that's an important point. For speaking to us here on India Today, Mayor, many thanks, sir. Ma'am, many thanks. So, protecting the city, but making a very important point. No city is safe from a Russian missile attack. These attacks continue, but ground forces are being stalled at multiple locations. The pitched battles for the control and defense of Kiev continue. With cameraman Pawan Kumar at Bela Serkov on the southern axis to Kiev, Ukraine, Gaurav Sawant for India Today. As Russian missiles, rockets and artillery bomb various parts of Ukraine, including Kiev, metro stations in Kiev have turned into a bomb shelter. And some of these metro stations, incidentally, the oldest and the deepest in Ukraine and in Europe, are actually a lifeline, not travel-wise. These metro stations are closed for traffic. There is no metro plying. But these underground bunkers are actually saving lives of many who don't have bomb shelters in their homes. India Today's Foreign Affairs editor Geeta Mohan with this report.
We are here at the metro station to see how people over here are taking shelter. If you come from upstairs, it almost feels like there is nobody, but the moment you enter the metro station, they've made their people who these shelters are housing to keep them warm, also to keep them safe. Most of these metro stations now have become bomb shelters as well. So a lot of them living here in the metro station, in the metros. If you see, that's the metro right behind me, and you can see it has become home to a lot of people. So this is the only safety that many have found, a safe place. Metro over here. Living over here to find some warmth is also to ensure that they're safe.
Day 18 of the Russia-Ukraine conflict has seen intense bombing of several cities, and especially Lviv in the west. Lviv was so far considered safe. It was actually the western axis, the route to escape. But massive rocket and missile strike in Lviv has led to major casualties and fatalities, and the targeting of the axis to the west, which was so far considered safe. We bring you this report on the day's developments on day 18 of the Russia-Ukraine conflict.
Missile strikes on cities. Charred houses and vehicles. Air bases attacked. Bloodbath on the streets of Ukraine. Putin is unrelenting and unsparing. Air raid alerts in almost every region in Ukraine, including Kharkiv, Kiev, Zhytomyr and Zaporizhia. Ukraine claims Russians shot at civilians who were trying to evacuate along a green corridor in Kiev, killing 7 people. Russia expanding offensive to western city of Lviv, which saw a barrage of multiple missile strikes and several casualties. Buildings and cars in ruins. The streets of Kiev paint a picture of horror and destruction.
This was somebody's house. The entire frontage here has been destroyed. The study room there, the kitchen there, everything stands destroyed. And this is just one home. Let me also show you the destruction at another home here. And many homes, whether you look at the shrapnel in that house, whether you look at the destruction in this house, or you look at the damage in that house. And this entire locality has now been vacated.
Right now I'm on my way to Bucha from Kyiv, and here you can see a police car which has been hit by a small rocket and has been damaged. So many such police cars have been hit. There's another one standing on the other side, and this is being hit by a small rocket today morning probably.
Kherson, the first city to fall, still shows resistance in some pockets, leading to fight back. But the city continues to witness massive attacks by the Russian troops. Many houses reduced to rubble. Ukrainian tanks and vehicles damaged. In Kharkiv, heavy shelling has resulted in massive destruction. Houses charred. Vehicles on fire. Commercial buildings and buildings of state administration destroyed in back-to-back attacks.
There are the ruins of Kharkiv Regional State Administration behind me. When it was attacked on the morning by the rockets from the sky, Kharkiv volunteers gathered here to coordinate their work with each other and authorities. The building was destroyed by a second blow on another day. The Kremlin covered says that they are hitting military targets only, but in reality they are destroying the symbols of our cities and our freedom.
Ruthless Russians moved down a car full of people with their tanks in Zaporizhia, killing 2 adults and a teen. Missiles rocked residential areas of Mykolaiv. In Baishiv, just outside Kyiv, the neighborhood reduced to rubble after relentless attack. But Ukraine is not ready to drop resistance, despite its willingness for fresh talks. Zelensky proposed to meet Putin with the condition that Israel mediates.
Російські окупанти не можуть нас підкорити. У них немає такої сили, немає такого духу, вони тримаються тільки на насильстві і тільки на терорі. Всюди, куди прийшла Росія, на чужу землю, мрії неможливі.
With no end to the war in sight, in the next round of negotiations, scheduled after finalization of legal framework, bring any respite? Bureau Report, India Today.
Several cities now lie abandoned and destroyed. In 18 days, Ukraine has changed, and many here say perhaps forever. Bustling cities, including Kiev, now resemble a ghost town. Locality after locality, colony after colony, lie shattered, in ruins, or completely abandoned. Our next report shows you 2 images before and after this conflict started.
Captivating cathedrals, marvelous monasteries, historic monuments, and cities with grand landscapes. This was Ukraine for tourists holidaying in Europe's second largest country. Now, all that is left for one to see in Ukraine is this: missile attacks and explosions, bloodstains of civilians, and heartbreaking scenes of citizens fleeing. Mykolaiv, a city and municipality in southern Ukraine, the main shipbuilding center of the Black Sea, is now under attack. Images on your screen show a Russian missile targeting a car park in the city and several other civilian areas, reduced to rubble. The beautiful town of Volnovakha in the Donetsk region of Ukraine, it served as the administrative center and now has been decimated by shelling. Buildings have collapsed, cars have been destroyed. The region has become a ghost town with people fleeing from the area in droves. Kharkiv, the second largest city, continues to be the worst hit. Images on the screen show this once beautiful city in ruins. Buildings totally destroyed, the cars empty shells, and no sign of life anywhere in this ravaged city. Capital city, Kyiv, the most populous city of Ukraine, an important industrial, scientific, and cultural center of Eastern Europe, now in ruins. Devastating images capture bodies lying all around, charred Russian tanks, and destruction everywhere. This is the central city of Ukraine, Dnipro, and the destruction is evident here too. Once bustling and full of life, shelling and continuous airstrikes by Russia has reduced this city to debris.
Ukraine is also a traveler's paradise. This is one of those last genuine destinations in Europe where you can explore a lot of areas. And this is a tourist paradise, or at least it was, when lakhs and lakhs of tourists visited this country earlier. Now the problem is this country is just struggling to stay afloat amidst the Russian invasion. With cameraman Pawan Kumar in Kiev, Ukraine, Gaurav Sawant for India Today. Thousands took to the streets here in Melitopol to demand the release of the mayor of Melitopol, who was reportedly abducted by Russian forces. Remember, Russia has unleashed not just its army, but also militia, Chechen fighters and several others who fanned across several areas. They've taken the mayor of Melitopol hostage. It is being said that people stood on the road. They chanted freedom slogans. They want the mayor to be freed as quickly as possible. Russia's strategy is to speak to the mayor of a locality and then ask him to work under the Russian flag. In Kherson, they were successful. Here, the mayor chose not to work with the Russians and has been since abducted. In another city near Chernihiv, the mayor chose to end his life than work with the Russian forces. In several areas now, the mayors and other government officials, they fear they will either be abducted or killed if they choose not to work with the Russians. But all of that does bring the focus very clearly on the attack and the war for defense of Kiev. On day 18, there's massive shelling. There are rocket and missile attacks, there's death and there is destruction. Amidst this, the abduction of a mayor has taken this country by storm. There is shock and outrage at the abduction of the mayor of Melitopol, who chose not to work with the Russians. He's reportedly been abducted while people demand his release. Let's take a look at how in several pockets, as the Russians move forward from the south and the east, their effort is to get the existing dispensation to change their loyalties and work for the Russian government. If they choose to do that, they are permitted to live and function. If they choose to oppose it, then their abduction or even harsher action against them, including in some instances allegations of torture, have now surfaced. The Russians, of course, on their side, it is being said that all of this is Ukrainian propaganda. We bring you all sides of the story.
war in Ukraine is raging on for nearly 20 days now. Russia has repeatedly assured the international community that it's not targeting civilians, despite contrary reports from the ground. This is the moment mayor of a city called Melitopol, Ivan Fedorov, is abducted, allegedly by Russian soldiers. The video shows Russian soldiers taking the mayor out of a building with his head covered. Ukraine's Internal Affairs Ministry confirmed that the mayor was abducted after he refused to cooperate with the Russians. There's no information about Mayor Fedorov's whereabouts. His city is in Russian control. Ukrainian President Zelensky condemned the abduction, calling it a sign of Russia's weakness.
Today in Melitopol, the invaders captured mayor of the city, Ivan Fedorov, a mayor who courageously defends Ukraine and the people of his community. Obviously, this is a sign of the weakness of the invaders.
The kidnapping has sparked a flurry of protests. Thousands of Melitopol residents marched to the administration building, demanding the release of their mayor. According to Ukrainian media, Russian forces entered Melitopol on the second day of their invasion. Since then, the mayor had led several rallies with thousands of attendees. On March 5th, Fedorov reportedly said that the situation in the city was getting difficult due to a food and medicine shortage. The mayor also called for a humanitarian corridor to let the residents leave, which was denied by Russian forces. Bureau Report, India Today.
The situation across Ukraine, and not just here in Kiev, is extremely grim as Russian forces move forward and intensify their offensive. As the mayor of Belasirkov told me, no city, no locality in Ukraine is now safe from a Russian assault and attack. But people continue to fight. Reports also came in that a journalist was shot at and killed in Irpin, another journalist injured. The situation continuously taking a turn for the worse. But India Today is reporting from Ground Zero here in Kiev. That is all camera person Pawan Kumar and I have for you on this special broadcast from the Freedom Square of Kiev, Ukraine. Many thanks for watching. For all the latest news and updates, stay with us on India Today.